Stable Chat, proudly brought to you by Paul Dobson and Dylan Barry of Kelly Partners in Melbourne. I must say a big thank you to those guys. I probably need to actually say a little bit of roll the dice as well with this one, roll the dice syndicate, do I? Josh Julius, hello mate.
How are you, mate?
Very, very good. I just done a great interview with Steve Travagli, one of the founders of Roll the Dice, behind the scenes I suppose, and it'll air after this, but good little bit of insight. Great supporters of yours, aren't they?
Yeah, they've been terrific. Certainly helped my life in Bendigo roll a little easier, that's for sure. And yeah, they've become good friends, and yeah, so that business relationship, as I said, really helped us here in Bendigo sort of find our feet and settle ourselves and keep us busy. And yeah, it sort of branched on from there into being very loyal clients.
Bendigo's a tricky place. It can be very daunting. A lot of people have come and we're going to reinvent the wheel, and they put their tail between the legs and pack up pretty quick. It can be a daunting place. To get someone like Roll the Dice, and I think you said you had Australian Bloodstock on there as well before that, must make it a lot easier for a young man trying to set a business up and a business model up.
Yeah, well, I think when I arrived in Bendigo, I think I had 3 horses in my name as a trainer. I sort of come off a couple of ACL injuries through football and didn't have sort of a huge client base. So to have the support of 2 big syndicators like that to obviously have horses in work and be sending accounts out to and getting bills paid was terrific. So and then obviously that just branched out to us being able to buy more horses and get more people involved, and it's sort of gone on from there. So.
And I'd imagine you get that sort of trickle effect, if you like, that some people might leave there. They say, well, I like Josh. Why didn't the horse stay with Josh? So you got shares in one. They say, oh, we'll jump into that one with shares with you, just purely through that relationship of those couple of syndicates.
Absolutely, and it's not something we've targeted. Obviously,
it just happens.
Don't want to do that to Darren or Steve or any of that sort of thing. So and the boys, but naturally, just through interest and through sort of meeting people at open days and at the races, and if they're swinging by Bendigo and want to say good day to their horse, it's sort of build relationship like that as well. So,
how long have you been a trainer?
I couldn't tell you how long I've been a trainer. I'm 33 now. I think I got a bit keen. Got my licence out when I think I was about 20 or 21. So had my licence for a while, but and I think I've been settled in Bendigo for 7 years.
Do you enjoy it?
Do. No, I really do. It's a bit of a grind, like as everyone sort of is aware with horses, and certainly there's more bad days than good days. But no, it's that's why we all do it. We all love it.
Yeah, I think that's great because there is a lot more. It was interesting listening to Steve that he's been advised just to try and keep it, but it's very, very hard when you're hands-on training horses, and you got one that's ready to win. You come in the morning and you look and you've got a bow tendon, and it's just
that's it. And you go to the races with one you think you can, and you get it handed to you. So it's it's unrelenting. That's what it is, and it's as I said, it goes around, and eventually you get your turn on the circle on the wheel. But no, 100%. It's not a job you couldn't do if you didn't love it. Like you just wouldn't get out of bed.
No, and you shouldn't. How's your season been? Your season nearly comes to a close, actually.
Yeah, coming to a close. Probably as far as winners go, wasn't as good as last season. But as far as performances go, no contrast. Obviously, we were lucky enough to get a horse to win 2 Group 2s this year. So Just Folk, he's certainly become our flagship horse, and hopefully we can continue to build our brand around him, and certainly looking forward to the future with him.
Done a little bit of travelling with him too. You got the white hat on board.
Yeah, got the white hat. Got a bit of merch while we're up there in Sydney, and sort of been flogging that as much as I can. But no, he's been terrific for us. It was a great opportunity in the autumn to get up there and spend a fair bit of time in Sydney, and obviously won a race while we're up there, and then able to qualify for a Doncaster, which is. Yeah, just dream come true. To be involved in those races, let alone sort of go in there with some sort of expectation. So he started sort of 5th or 6th line on the betting, and didn't get things run our way. Which obviously in those big races you need all those 1%ers to add up. But look, he's hopefully he's not finished, and I don't think he is. And we'll see what can happen in the spring.
It is a funny thing. I do a lot of pedigrees with, especially with the standardbred horses. And we see a lot of Group 1s. There are a lot of them. They're very hard to win. You see a lot of good horses and that over the journey that haven't won. To actually just be in a Group 1, we need to, I think, give it a lot more recognition, don't we, than what we probably do.
Absolutely. We sort of, in the spring, we obviously I got beaten a length in the Cantala, and that was on the week back up after our win in the Crystal Mile. And whilst it was a Group 1, it was our first Group 1 winner, it was a huge. We only sort of had a week to think about it, or half a week to think about it, because it was an afterthought. It really was. Whereas, obviously working into the autumn, we had to throw the early nom in for the Doncaster, and these were the races that we were sort of aiming for. And then obviously being up there and winning the Ajax, and knowing that it was a free ticket in, we sort of had 3 weeks then to, it was a bit of hype around, and we're up in Sydney away from home, and fair bit of pressure on, and it was certainly a different experience to what it was in the spring. So, and even just being around, we stayed at Warwick Farm at Kieran Maher's place there, and just being in that environment, and the other stables in Warwick Farm sort of knowing who you were, because you were a part of the Group 1, and these are stables that you sort of look past, and, like they're amongst it all the time, but even they can recognise that you being involved is such a big thing. So it puts a fair bit of reality to the whole situation, being involved in a Group 1.
And it's an amazing place. Like, I've been there through the standardbreds. We went there, and I went for a walk, and I was like, man, and I got up early the next morning because I was like, I got to check this out, how these horses, it's phenomenal. It's just like almost like a little township in there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just tucked away in behind realistically the main highway into Sydney. It's not far, but near, to throw a couple of stones and you're there. And it's just this big sort of 4 or 5 block sort of area, and it's just horses and houses for staff. So got the big tunnel there to Warwick Farm, and look, it's for a city environment, it is quite welcoming. We're obviously come from the quiet surrounds of Bendigo to straight into Sydney and into Warwick Farm, and he settled in terrific, and it was a big part of sort of being able to achieve what we achieved.
You would have learned and developed from there. The horse, did he?
Oh, look, it was huge. Yeah, look, every sort of prep, I think. A couple of preps ago, we took him away to Murray Bridge. He won a benchmark 64 over there, and ever since that trip, I wasn't afraid to sort of do things sort of out of the box with him. It really grew him up. He was a horse that sort of needed to mature mentally, and obviously then into the spring, he went and won the Group 2 there at Moonee Valley. So hopefully the trip away from Sydney's done him the world of good again, and it seems to. He's been back in work a month now, obviously aiming towards the spring, and we'll see what we can achieve. It
must be great backing yourself. I would imagine going to Murray Bridge and getting a win for a young trainer. You would have been like, yeah, that's cool. Like the drive home would have been pretty rewarding, and the likes. Must be great when you back the horse, take him, you nominate him for the Doncaster. He gets a free ticket. The golden ticket gets in there for a young person. That's just got to be so rewarding that. Yeah, I've got dreams, but I can fulfil them.
Absolutely, like it's playing with the big guys, like it's you look at the form, and even just the Ajax itself. You look at the form of horses that have won it and gone to the race, and he certainly hasn't gone any worse in the actual Doncaster than any of the horses out of the Ajax have gone. So, and the spring before, like we're running next to beating a length in these Group 1s with good horses, and old Cascadian for Godolphin's come out through the autumn and done what he did, and we're a length away from him the spring before in a Group 1. So it is. It's and I suppose for the years that you put into it, everyone's waiting for a good horse. So that's whether, no matter what you're involved in, or even bloody greyhound industry, waiting for a good dog. Like it's. You get a good horse and you get the best out of him. I think that's sort of the biggest thing that I can take out of it is when we get the opportunity, we get the right one, we can do the right things, and we can have them competitive in the right races.
Can't remember which horse it was at Paddy Cannon's. He actually bit me thumb. This bloke's going to grab me on the shoulder blade. He's nuzzling away there. He's quite a happy horse. Rest of your team, how many horses of your own? You've got syndicate horses, but how many horses in Josh Julius's name?
About 20 on the books, I think.
Wow.
We're working sort of about 14 or 15 at the moment. He's got his ears back. He's probably not done with you yet. We've got stables here. Cass, my wife and I, we've got 16 boxes here that we keep full most of the time. Sort of gone, as I said, over the years from sort of being 80% pre-trainers and 20% hours. Now it's probably 80% hours and 20% pre-trainers. So
that's good.
Yeah, no, it's terrific for our brand, and as I said, Steve and the Roll the Dice boys, they roll them through when they can, and when there's a box here free for them. So, and they're sort of understanding that my brand's going as well, and to the point where they've got racehorses here as well. I think we've got 3 of theirs at the moment, and keep building on that. And it's just a good number, like Bendigo's a little bit tricky, as we said, for weather's a bit tricky, but actually staff's quite tricky as well.
I think that's a common thing everywhere now.
It is getting that way, certainly, but certainly what I've noticed around Bendigo is it's there's not a lot of staff in my 7 years that have come in to Bendigo. It's sort of all been the same crew that are around, whether it be freelance track riders or people that sort of work for stables. So it's
That's a worry.
I think it is going forward, yeah. Especially if we want to, as a training community here, grow. We've obviously got to attract staff and good people that want to be here and want to stay here, you know what I mean? So it's a beautiful city, Bendigo. Really enjoyed our time here so far, and we're tied up with cricket clubs and all sorts of things, so it's itself as a city is really good, but yeah, sort of the horse community, or not so much the horse community, but the racing community is yeah, probably lacking in a bit of depth, and a few of the guys over there are sort of probably got some expiration dates soon, so it's, yeah, we need some people to sort of pop in here and peg us all up, I suppose.
Maybe the racing club might be one of the first trailblazers to have longer hours for you guys to be able to train, but that's me with my harness racing hat on.
No,
but I don't think
won't hold my breath, but it's yeah, it's obviously something the industry has been talking about for a while, and with the surge of night racing and twilight racing, it's probably realistic. Going to have to be a bit more of a realistic option going forward.
I'm happy to put it out there. I've got a 16-year-old girl that a couple of trainers have seen ride, and they said, you know, she should come and ride track work and all the rest, and she could make good money. There's no way known. Yep. Not the hours you work like a young 100%. Person. You know, I love the horses, but yeah, there's no way I'll let her. I'll work harder so she doesn't have to, because I think it's ludicrous the hours you guys keep.
And I think it's a sign of the times, realistically. Like it's certainly not even in my sort of 10 years of having a licence, things have changed. Let alone for those guys that have sort of been in it for 10, 15 years longer than I have. Like it's long gone that you just jump on a horse and work it for $5 and all that sort of stuff, you know. Like it's track riders are all getting paid super now, and rightly so. Like it's all everything's sort of catching up in our industry to where the rest of the world's been for a long time. So he's certainly not finished.
What's his name?
That's Forrest.
Forrest. I think it was Schultz of Pats that was trying to bite me thumb. He's keeping me honest. If anyone's wondering, he hasn't actually sunk the teeth in yet, but it's not from lack of trying. I'll give him that. He's a happy horse. How's the next couple of weeks? Is it quiet time for you guys at the minute?
It is a bit quiet. I mean, we've got a lot of young horses at the minute, sort of pretty much of our own, that we're sort of just going through the motions. I think we took 6 the other day to Kerrang to trial, and probably got 3 or 4 not far behind that stage. So yeah, whether a few of them get to the races or not, sort of remains to be seen. I'm probably my owners will tell you I'm probably too patient as a trainer, which is probably not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I'm not one to rush them. They tell me, and I mean, it's an easy sort of sell that, but it's yeah, they're all individuals, and let us know when they're ready. And we've had an opportunity to we've trained a couple of 2-year-olds and had a couple of 2-year-old winners and that sort of thing. When the right horse bobs up, it does. But no, just let them go through the motions. And got a couple at Ballarat on Tuesday. We'll get their chance to sort of see how they're going, and
can
we'll
they win?
From there. On ability, they can. A horse in a Satin Ruler, he's not a bad sort of horse. He won his first start for us at Echuca. He's a little horse, probably going to carry a lot of weight in a benchmark 58, so sort of I'm looking forward to the next season, and the 0 to 64s coming back, and the weight scale returning back to normal in the 58. So, but he's a horse I think who's probably up to 70 grade once he sort of figures out racing. And I got a roll the dice horse actually, Miss Man, with a grey horse here behind us. She's shows a lot of ability on the track, but we just haven't sort of seen her put that to fruition. He's going to get you. He's knowing you're saying there.
He's trying to say this conversation's got to finish. I was going to do it in front of the grey horse, but we've done Steve's interview in front of it. Anyone's wondering, he's really angry with me, this bloke.
Getting close to
feed time, is it?
Not far off 3 o'clock. He's reckoned that hay bag on the ground.
Turn to the side. Turn to that side there, because Heath Connors, Southern Cross Feeds. He's quite adamant sometimes that I should be getting sponsored by him, but I'm well and truly looked after by Barristock. But Heath, don't worry about that. I looked after you. Branding is key. I like that. I like what you're doing. I think it's a way forward for our industry as well, both industries, even though people will say, oh, the thoroughbreds are flying. Complacency kills, and I think branding is one of those great things we have to get out there.
Absolutely. We're lucky to the Victorian Equine Group on the other side, the vets here up the road, Mike and Sarah, they're terrific, and obviously just about to change hands. It's been taken over now by APM, if I remember correctly. So Mike and Sarah have built a terrific brand there, and looking forward to seeing how that goes on in new hands, and obviously Mike and Sarah staying, which will be terrific as well. So no, it is important, and whilst people think thoroughbreds might be flying and stuff like that, it's still pretty tough. Like it's as I said, we're working silly hours, and we might be earning good money if we've got a good horse, but still got to get the good horse, and still got to get there, and still got to get the results. So it's it still costs the same to feed him and pay your staff. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely. This nice Barrostock jacket might get ripped soon if we don't call this interview over. Josh, thank you. Thank you very much for, giving me a little bit of time here today with the Stable Chat. As I said, brought to you by Kelly Partners in Melbourne for all your accountancy needs, but also giving us the time for Steve Travaglia with a good open, I suppose, conversation that I had that will be going up a little bit later on about syndications, but where they've come from. They're a great story as well. So.
No, they certainly are, and it is a nice little easy, cheap way sometimes to get involved if you are thinking about it. They are terrific boys, and they do a good job, and they're buying the right horses, and their form's sort of proof of that. So, no, it's certainly plenty of options to get involved, however way you want to get involved in the racing industry, that's for sure.
Josh, thank you very much, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming in.